Okay, welcome back, everybody. We are live. Just about to open New York Open, the ES today. How is everyone doing? Ready for another trading day, I hope. Jennifer, good morning. Watched you for the first time last night. Just took an NQ long. Finally made more sense. Appreciate you. Jennifer, that's incredible to hear. You're most welcome, and welcome to the chat. Welcome to the live stream. We have just opened. We got some really interesting levels today. Yom, yo to you, my friend. Cody, good morning. Saeed, Waka Saeed, how are you? Good morning, my friend. Oh, look at all that sell pressure coming in. What a sell-off we've been having. We're finally, we finally broke out that really long-term range. Now, this is a really big gap, 4-hour chart. We've got a serious gap here. So I'm expecting buy pressure in that area there. So this could be one of those really big trades. So we're finally approaching a serious area. If I go to the 4-hour chart, maybe you can see it. You can't really see. I've kind of drawn it a little bit wrong, but if I push this down a bit just for this leg here, there's a really nice gap right there. Oh, maybe I've drawn it wrong. It could be. All right, we're going to have to figure out exactly where this gap is, because depending on which leg we draw it on, it does change. So let's see this leg. Yeah, see there's a gap. There's multiple of them, but it's in around that area. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bump up the row size to like 150. Try really isolate where the volume drops off. And really, it's right there. That's the kind of ultimate one. So I'm going to put a line on that and see if we get there. But if not, anywhere in this area, really, I'm gonna be interested. So we're kind of already in it. Let's go back to the 1 minute. Let's see what the volume is saying. But ultimately, right near the bottom, I think will be the best reaction. We've already got the buyers trying to squeeze out the sellers. This could already be potentially a move here. So let's figure out what exactly has just happened. So we had all that sell pressure come in. They kind of failed at the bottom here, right? But we have yet to actually really take out those sellers and squeeze them out. So I don't want to chase the market, because my stop is going to have to be all the way down here then, otherwise. Just trying to keep an eye on the contracts. The sellers still coming in. They are still coming in. You can see the buy numbers dropping, but buyers are reloading. It's a bit of a battle here. I'm going to see if we can drop a little bit more, because the open candle can be it's a little annoying that we opened right in that area. It would have been nice if we opened a bit higher up and then kind of dropped into it. But I'm gonna try see if the sellers can bring it down a little bit more, and hopefully, oh, there was a big chunk of absorption right there. I will get to the chat in a second, but I'm genuinely eyeing up a buy here. Nah, the sellers might still have it. I could front run this. I'm front running. I'm going to front run with one contract, see if we can get that push up now. But realistically, if we go literally below this candle, I want to get out. In terms of my take profit, I'll get rid of it for now. I'm going to try front run it. And I'm only front running because if these sellers kind of fail to push it down, which it looks like they might do, because they're putting on size, but the buyers, it's happening to the buyers as well. But because we're in this gap, I'm going to be a little bit more. But if we get below that candle, I want to get out, basically. So I can actually set my stop pretty much already. Just bear in mind the spread, maybe of like here. It's a very tight stop, but I wouldn't want to put size on it yet. I wouldn't actually want to put any true size into this position. But I'm just seeing the absorption. I hope you guys can spot what I'm seeing here. It's these sellers, mainly these guys here. They were coming in heavy, but they were failing, but it looks like they finally might actually break it down. But the real gap doesn't start until it's because it's a huge area. I mean, we've got this, it could be anywhere in here we could have the reversal, right? And that is how many points? 43 points. It's a massive area. There's definitely something going on here. If buyers can squeeze out, oh no, the sellers came in heavy there. All right, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. Maybe we'll go a bit lower and we'll get the position. I think the sellers have finally got it here, because I was hoping we could squeeze out these guys, all that volume, because they were getting close. You know, we were getting close to getting above them. And it started looking a bit like the buyers wanted it, and the sellers were failing again down here. So maybe if we had a bit more buy pressure and got out, and then all these guys stops get hit, we'll have that boom, boom, boom kind of movement. But realistically speaking, like I said, if these guys were good, it isn't ready yet. All right, we can look at the chat now. I think Cody, Cherry, Peter, good morning. Good morning. Coach Z, good morning. Ange Trader, welcome back. Mario, good morning, my friend. Yom, gold dropped sharply today, bullish on NQES. Absolutely. Hitting buy imbalance. Absolutely, Jennifer. This was a very, like, we opened literally in the area. So you got that kind of, you know, craziness from the open, which is a little bit annoying, but because you want a bit of more of a calmer market. Dave Bell, welcome, my friend. How are you? Oh, of course, Yom is Sid, isn't he? Sid, that's Peter's friend. Welcome back, my friend. Capt, how are you? Good morning. Good to hear, Dave. Good to hear. So what we want to do now is basically we want to kind of wait until, because buyers and sellers are still locking horns. Sellers kind of, look, I mean, sellers are putting in more volume, that's for sure, right? We can see the volume the sellers are posting since the open compared to the buyers. And that's already a first red flag, right? Because they're putting in so much volume, the sellers, but they're not really pushing the market down. So that's the first red flag where you think if buyers really tried to take over, I think they could. So we just need to kind of wait until buyers make their move, essentially. And the way we kind of identify that would be more, I mean, you'd have to apply logic to what you're seeing, right? So what would make someone want to buy, or a large amount of people want to buy? Do you know what I mean? What would it take? Would it take taking out a particular low? Would it take, you know, a lot of buy numbers appearing in the footprint, potentially? Would it take, you know, a bunch of sellers getting trapped and people trying to take advantage of them? So, like, again, I'm seeing, you know, sellers failed again, but I'm not ready to jump back in just yet, because I think sellers, they're willing to go back. Oh, they could be failing here. That was a very quick push from the sell side. All buyers look like they might be, son of a bitch. That happened very quick. But I hope you guys spotted what I'm talking about here. There were sellers, right? They came in and instantly we went above them, and now we've got some big buy volume coming in. But let's see, because we haven't actually got rid of the main sellers, right? They're still in the market. We're talking about, you know, the guys that opened on the open. These sellers, they're still very much in the market trying to push this market down. They don't really want to get in drawdown. So the battle isn't over, but buyers, they do want it. They are trying to squeeze them out. It's just if we get in here, if there's another rotation, we're going to get another stop out. So let's wait until we actually see these sellers get squeezed out. You know, let's be a bit more patient rather than front running it. Because if you're going to front run, you need to have tight stops. There's no ifs or buts. That looked quite good, though. You see these sellers coming in and failing? And they're failing quite high up. I just want to see if at 200, yeah, they're failing high up. I'm jumping in again because I'm thinking we might get the squeeze potentially. But again, if those sellers come in a bit strong, maybe below this black line, I'll get out. So I've got my finger on exit. I'm not even going to bother setting a stop because I will manually exit if those sellers, they did kind of retake control a bit, but they're struggling to push it down. If they fail here, we can have the move. Fail. Nah, they haven't. Oh, buyers come back in. Oh, this could be it. Are the sellers failing? Look at all that buy volume coming in. Can we squeeze the open sellers out? They still haven't been squeezed out. We want to see big buy numbers appear above their position. Then they've been squeezed out because then we know their stops have been hit. Come on. One last push. Oh, this is such a battle. Come on, buyers. I believe in you. Looking at the sellers, they're not giving up. They're getting nervous. They're getting very nervous. You can see how aggressive those sellers are coming in. I think they might just about take it. They might just about survive here. Come on, we need big buyers coming in. Come on, buyers. Squeeze those sellers out. Nah. And you see big buy numbers. I mean, look, the sellers here, they're constantly trying to push it down, but they are kind of failing. And we know the buyers are struggling because sellers are coming in because it's these guys protecting their position. Let's see if we get stop out. Nope. Where do you think their stops are going to be? Probably the people who entered on the open are probably going to be above these highs, right? Boom! We saw them getting out. There they are. All right, they're starting to drop out. Now buy momentum. So we know all this volume here is those sellers getting stopped out, right? Now, in order to continue this move, something important has to occur. Fresh buyers need to come in, right? Real fresh buy pressure has to come in to keep this move up and afloat. All right, new sellers coming in, trying to buy the rip essentially. Sell the rip. These guys have to fail and buyers need to get above them because this is where the battle will occur now. Whether how effective these sellers are, these fresh sellers, we know they're fresh sellers. If these guys, because all this volume here, these aren't true buyers. They're just stops, right? We can ignore them. We're not expecting anything from that volume. Buyers are coming in. We need to squeeze out all the sellers who came into there, get above them, and then hopefully sellers will give up. And if they give up, we got to move. So it's like a snowball effect. You know what I mean? Like there's never any like just one condition and then this will happen. It's all down to psychology, right? Of what you would expect. It's like a snowball effect, essentially. And the moment that kind of chain, like one link in the chain breaks, then, you can kind of know when it's a failure or not. So realistically, like for me right now, really, if we get much below those buyers that came in who are holding the line, these are the guys holding the line. If we get below them, I'm going to want to get out the market, right? I don't want to stay in the market if these buyers cannot hold it. But I need to see more buy pressure to squeeze these guys out. So it's truly a battle between these buyers and all these sellers coming in. That's the battle right now. If we can beat them, good. Then we get one more leg up. Does that make sense? One kind of move up, maybe a couple of candles up before sellers decide eventually, maybe they'll decide to start jumping in here again, to try and push the market down because they think that's a good area to sell. Who knows, right? Where sellers want to come back in. But you can only kind of make assumptions where sellers will want to start selling again. There you go. We're getting that buy pressure come in. Squeeze these guys out. We want to see the numbers peak. Want to see that buy pressure peak? Come on. They're still in the market, these sellers. They're not giving up just yet. We've got to squeeze them out. They're still coming in. Sellers are still coming in. Almost had it. Almost. But not just yet. I think a lot of stops are going to be above that high there. I will get to the chat in a moment. I promise I'll get to the chat in a moment. This is very, very, oh, look at those sellers. They're coming in with vengeance. 630. Let's squeeze those bastards out. We want to get them out. There we go. Come on. They're desperate. They're getting very desperate. But desperation is scary, right? You gotta see that as, someone's desperate in the market. Okay, they're vulnerable, but they might want it more. If they want it more than buyers, they can push this market down. Don't write them off just yet. Yes, it looks like they're failing. Yes, they're having a hard time, these sellers, but we know we're in such a bearish market right now. Like, considering what's happened earlier today, how much of a sell-off we had, overwhelmingly there's going to be more people willing to sell than buy, right? In general. Oh, look, they've put on so much pressure. They might just beat our buyers here, unfortunately. You can see our buyers getting potentially stopped out at break even. Look at that sell pressure coming in. Still not over yet. Buyers are still holding the line. There's some fresh buyers. Let's get above them. Come on. All these guys are very, very, what's the word? Potentially, I don't know if that's fresh buy pressure or not. It's hard to know. I wouldn't be surprised if that's some of these guys actually dropping out, because that is a lot of buy contracts, but it's very similar in numbers as what we saw down here. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's actually sellers giving up. Because if that was true buy pressure, I think we would have a bit more of a spike, to be honest. But if it is true buy pressure, it's not actually a great sign, because that means there's an iceberg here. And if there's an iceberg, not good for us. I think the sellers might actually have it here. Buyers need to come in hard. We've got to get above those sellers. We never truly stopped them out yet. It's still anyone's game here. But it feels like the sellers want it a little bit more. Come on. Come on, buyers. I believe in you. Oh, this is exciting. This is really exciting stuff. This battle right here. Come on, buyers. One last push. Let's get above them. Just trigger their stops. Where would all their stop losses be? It's going to be, a lot of it's going to be above these highs here. The buyers are, they're starting to have a hard time. They're having a bit of a hard time. It's slowly, and the issue is, and here's the scary part, right? When you got to think logically again, if the sellers manage to push it down a little bit too much, a lot of people in general will be like, oh, we had a little pullback continuation. They all start shorting. Here we go. Maybe we can squeeze them out. Buy pressure is coming in. Come on, keep it up. Let's get above all this area here. Only a few more points and we potentially have this. Because, yeah, if sellers bring it down too much, it's going to have a snowball effect where loads of people start selling and then game over. And then maybe we go back down to these lows and then maybe fresh buy pressure will come in. But I'm not holding this trade all the way down to these lows in hope that, buyers come back in, because I might as well get out the moment you see too much sell pressure on the lower side and it's starting to become effective. Get out. It's no big deal. And then jump back in once the next cycle or the next vulnerability is confirmed. They're still fighting it. This is a bit of a battle here, but buyers are holding it. They could still do this. We need buyers willing to buy at the top. We need heavier buyers coming in higher up, willing to take a shot at a breakout. If we wait for buyers only to come in at the bottom, then we're just got a range constantly. So we need that shift. Here we go. This could be it. 500, boom, boom. That's what I'm talking about, boys. That's what I'm talking about. The next extension now, hopefully sellers give up, right? We should be able to drift up a little bit easier now that a lot of these sellers are out. But sellers are still willing to short it. They're seeing this as, oh, there's a good price to get in. And we're now at the next high. So this is the next, unfortunately, the next stage of, unless buyers can quickly take out these sellers and get above them, we're just going to have unfortunately, another potential pullback. There we go. Get above them. Boom. They took them out very quickly. This is the first gap now, which is a little bit dangerous. Let's see if we can take out these highs. We will expect to see, obviously, stops at those highs. So we're going to also probably see take profits as well from the buy side, right? Anyone who's buying, they're probably got take profits here as well. So buy pressure will be released at those highs. Now, it will come down to whether buyers are willing to keep jumping in and ride the train. There's a bunch of stop loss, not stops, what's it called? Take profits hit. We're going to expect stop losses higher up. There's the stops. So we know buyers are out the market. Sellers are willing to come back in. Do we want to risk a pullback or should we get out? Let's see if those sellers are effective. If those sellers are slightly effective, I'm getting the hell out, because then we have a pullback. And sure, buyers might come back in again and try to get the market up. But as a scalper, you only really want the reaction, right? Let's see. Sellers are coming in heavy. Let's see if buyers can keep holding them off. Come on, get above those sellers. Let's get a breakout here. That's it. More stops being hit. Come on, get above the sellers. Just get rid of all the drawings. We don't want to get much below that current candle. More stop losses getting triggered. You can see that big buy volume spike above that high. Come on, pop up above them. More buyers need to enter. Fresh buyers need to enter to get this market up. There's some fresh buyers. Come on, pop up. Clear all that level. Oh, sellers are willing to transact again. 600 sellers. That's heavy. It looks like they might be a bit effective, these sellers. We'll give them another few seconds at potentially failing. Otherwise, we get out. It's good that buyers are coming in, but nah. Sellers might be a bit too strong here. I'm out. We're going to get a pullback. But all right, let's look at the chat. That was one heated battle. But you're going to get that near the, especially after such a sell-off. I mean, look at this. Yesterday and today, we have sold off. I mean, how many points are we talking here? 200, call it 200 points, 3% drop in a day and a half, right? Well, technically not even half a day, right? If you count the overnight session as a day, fair enough. But a lot of basically a big drop, right? Everyone is going to be willing to short, and any kind of pullback, people are, short. So for buyers to really get this market up, there has to be an unholy amount of buyers coming in. There's going to be a lot of pressure, but it will be so many different steps will be required. Buyers will need to just keep coming in until sellers eventually start thinking, shit, maybe this isn't a pullback. Maybe this is actually a proper move up. And then once those sellers start thinking and start switching their bias to buy, then you get, the real big moves come in, and then we just boom, 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 really easily start going up, because then most people are aligned on the same side. But right now, majority of people are still wanting to short. So it's going to always be a bit of a chop getting up, Right, let's see what the chat's saying. Dancer, first time on live chat. Welcome, Dancer. Good to have you here. Alameen, good day to you, my friend. How are you? NQ is on 200 EMA. Cherry, thank you for that. That's good to know. Squeeze, yep. Squeeze them out. Autumn, my friend, how are you? Alexis, good morning to you. We've got a lot of people in the chat today. This is a really lively chat. I love it. I am new to TradingView. Do you select ES with expiry month or ES1 or ES2? You should if you just go to futures and just ES, it's the continuous contract essentially. You don't have to select the particular contract with TradingView because you're not actually, unless you're connected to a broker and you're actually trading, through TradingView, then you want to select the correct contract. But if you're just analyzing but then executing elsewhere on a prop firm, whatever, it doesn't matter, right? Hi Sam, do you set stop loss? I do. Usually I do, to be fair. I know in this last, I don't think I actually set it, but normally I do. The thing is, I have an idea where my stop loss is. Like when I got into that trade and we had that push up, I'm pretty sure I said, if we get much below, this candle here, I want to be getting out the market because it's these buyers, that 218. I know it doesn't look like a lot, but we identified, this is all just stops. So I'm not really taking that as true buy pressure, but this is the fresh buy pressure that came in. If these guys fail and we get a bit below them, the thing is I can have a stop here, but there's a good chance I might just get wicked out if you have a really tight stop. So I have an area where I know I want to get out. And if, these sellers, I was almost about to get out here, but the sellers didn't actually push it really. They weren't really effective. And then buyers came back in quickly. So I gave it all right, give it a few more seconds. Maybe buyers will take control. But if realistically speaking, we went a little bit more further down, I would have just exited. Because then I would have seen these buyers are basically squeezed out and the move failed. And unfortunately, buyers weren't able to squeeze out the sellers. So I have like an idea of where the stop should be, but when you actually place it, sometimes it happens. You get triggered out before, just based on like a little reaction, especially on the open, because it can be very, choppy. It's not an exact science. Do you know what I mean? It's always look more at like an area. Like we know, above these highs, there's going to be stop losses from any seller who got in, but exactly where their stops are is a bit hard to know, right? I mean, it could be a few points ahead, but it's overall area, stops are going to be around here somewhere. And, they were there, but they could have equally been a bit higher up. It's not an exact science. Do you know what I mean? So your stop loss, kind of treat it similar, especially on a choppy market, like on near the open, Good morning, Holy Earth. Good to see you, my friend. How are you? SP Ticker, great to see you back here. This is inventory correction. There is a gap from yesterday's RTH low. Oh, is there? I didn't even check if there was a gap. I think I'm on ETH, so let's do regular trading hours. Oh shit, you're absolutely right. There is a huge gap. That is actually really I mean, the gap is massive. But what I will do is actually set a black line here. It's not on the electronic trading house, is it? No. But I would expect then something to on the same price. Once the gap gets filled, there could be a good push down again. So well spotted, SP Ticker. Really good. AJ, good to see you, my friend. How are you? Wow, that was a nice tug of war. It really was. Hearty, good to have you back. Rav as well. Dave Bell asks, can I ask what TradingView chart are you on? MES. This is the full mini, E-mini. But you can use the MES. The problem with there's no problem with MES, but if the footprint is easiest to read on the actual E-mini, the MES has a lot of, like you can absolutely do it. Like, let me show you the MES. But usually the volume's a lot bigger because it's smaller contract sizes, right? It's 1/10 of a mini. So you can absolutely read it, but because because the volume's even bigger, you just have to kind of adjust your eyes, I guess, on the range of what is big on MES versus what is small. But if you're used to kind of, trading just the E-mini, the actual ES, I mean, either one works. It's just down to, what you're used to, I guess. Where are we here? Appreciate everything you do. Could the live stream start maybe 5 minutes prior to NY Open? I can absolutely start it a bit earlier. Absolutely. If that makes it easier for people, absolutely I could do that moving forward. SB ticker, the bulls are targeting the gap close. Now that you mentioned it, SB ticker, I think absolutely you're right. If we get close to gap, there's going to be definitely a lot of sell pressure coming into the market. So that's our next potential sell. Manu, good afternoon. Let's see, any other questions? Crypto, good to see you, my friend. Fatty, welcome back. Long time. How are you? Is that gap on NQ as well? I have no idea. Let's have a look. NQ. Oh, we didn't really get much of a pullback. I thought there'll be a bit of a deeper pullback. Buyers are really propping it up here. Let's have a look on the NQ. Well, the NQ, let's go to regular. Yep, it is on the NQ as well. 24,616 is the price for the NQ. For the gap. So you're absolutely right. There is one on the NQ. All credit to SP Ticker for spotting that. Credit to SP Ticker there. Really good stuff. Now we do have another little tiny gap up here. Let me just, we've got another one here that's kind of been created, but we've just kind of traveled through it a little bit. But it could still reject it. I don't think it was a true breakout. Let's have a look. Wow. Look at that volume spike right there. This is beautiful. A lot of either take profits or sellers getting stopped out, one or the other. So how can we figure this out? Which one is it? If we put a line on that level, does it match up with a high or anything where you'd expect take profits? Actually, kind of, yeah. Because if you actually look at the structure of the market, this was support, right? Now it's naturally going to look like resistance. A lot of people who did buy, they're going to have to take profits at what was support, now resistance. So that could absolutely be an element of take profits being hit. Hence why the volume spiked. Also, I would say it's definitely a mixture of take profits and stop losses, because we did get, sellers coming back in again, right? Not that many, but we did get a reasonable amount of sellers coming back in. They probably, tried to scalp it, had stops there as well. They got triggered. So a lot of orders got triggered there because definitely take profits and stops were hit, but not true buy pressure, right? That's why, you want to ignore that kind of volume, because if you're expecting that to be all fresh buyers and they're going to prop this market up, you're going to be on the wrong side of the market. Does that make sense? Because you're going to expect, oh, there's loads of buyers, it should be going up. But it's not really lots of buyers. Do you know what I mean? It's not true buy pressure. It's actually people getting out. But then look, sellers try to take over again. Boom, boom, boom. That's true buy pressure. So the battle is always here. That's the battle here, where we got real sellers, real buyers, real sellers again, real buyers, and then who wins here is going to win the short-term move, and buyers won it, and we got the short-term move back up. Sellers again coming back in, same shit, right? And eventually sellers are going to win, right? And then we get a deeper pullback. It's going to happen. Buyers can't prop them up forever, right? Eventually, at some point, sellers are going to win. A battle will occur again. Sellers will take it, and we'll get a deeper pullback. And if buyers can't come back in and prop the market up at some point, it will turn from a pullback into a continuation back down again. Does that make sense? So it's a snowball effect. Like, the move is never truly written. There's no way of knowing whether, look, sellers look like they might actually come in for a pullback here. Okay. There's no way of knowing. Let's say that this is going to be a pullback right now. We don't know how far the sellers can keep this market down, right? We can only estimate and kind of guess based on logic, but there's no way of knowing. Like, there's nothing in that moment that will tell you this is going to extend down and create a whole new leg, or this is going to be a small little retracement. You have to see it bit by bit, candle per candle, and understand that it's like a domino effect that causes the market to really go. It's a domino effect. So there's just no way of knowing, sadly. It would be nice if there was, but Black and White, you're back. How are you, my friend? How's the poly market treating you? Made another few million on poly market. I'm waiting for my SPX short to hit TP. Nice. Rav, people thinking it would go down forever. Well, this is it. A lot of when they're right and we have real major moves, absolutely you can make a killing. But again, it's all about mass psychology, essentially. Mass psychology. Because think about it logically again, right? Even like where we are right now, sellers aren't guaranteed to push this down yet. Because we've got a lot of buyers, right, who came in. We know those buyers in the market. Where are their stop losses going to be? Most likely down here. So if sellers really kind of want to take a bit of control and have a bit more of a push down, they have to take out these buyers. Now, they don't necessarily need to stop them out. These buyers could go to break even, potentially. If we see a big spike in sell volume at break even, then we know those buyers got out at break even. They didn't. I don't think that happened. I think they're still in the market and they're still defending. They're coming in. Buyers are happy to keep buying every time there's a dip. So that's generally a good sign for the buyers, right? But essentially, when the mass majority of buyers who came in and made this move up get out the market, then the next cycle appears and sellers could, if they're willing to come in quite heavy here, once they stop them out, then you can get a really good sell-off, right? So until buyers are willing to come back in, buyers might be, sellers might be able to drop it down to here, and then maybe buyers want to come back in, and the same little battle occurs, and maybe buyers can push it back up, or maybe they fail and sellers keep pushing it down. Then more people jump in, and then it's just sell, and we just break through and continue and keep going down. So hard to know exactly what actually is going to occur until it really occurs. So you can only really react to the market in real time rather than try and predict what is going to happen. But the footprint can give you a good idea of what's going to happen in the next few candles. When we stop when we stopped out these sellers here, there's a very high possibility for the next few candles we're going to go up a little bit until sellers are willing to jump back in again. Do you know what I mean? Or buyers get out and take profit, etc. So that's essentially it. At the Asian low resistance. Yes, exactly. Yeah, what else? I think we're talking about the take profit and stuff. Yes, exactly that. Essentially, that resistance there, that support there is now obviously going to work as resistance, just based on market structure. So naturally, a lot of people take profit in that area. Absolutely, Dave. Black and White, you've been shorting this market for a while now, haven't you? But good stuff, man. You called it very well. Alex, hello, good day. Can you do a quick explanation on when you felt comfortable getting in your last trade and why? Absolutely, Alex, absolutely. So the first reason is I have to go back to the 4 hour. So this is like the way I draw my levels is down to gaps in volume. Let me put this back to 24 so I can show you a little bit what I'm talking about. But basically, there were a bunch of gaps down here, little drop-offs in volume. Depending on how I drew, which leg I drew it on, the gap did change a bit. So if I drew it on this one, the volume profile, we got a gap there. And if I drew it on the next one, the gap is a little bit lower down there. But nonetheless, within that yellow box area, we expect some kind of reaction from the buyers. So because we were in that area, that was my first, okay, I'm looking potentially to buy the market. So what I'm looking for now is, we had the open candle. Look at the volume that came in on the open. It's all sellers, right? I mean, it's just a shit ton of sell pressure, right? Almost 7,000 sellers delta. But they didn't really push it down. They could have, but they didn't, right? There was a lot of buyers coming in and trying to squeeze them out. And I did jump in originally for a buy here, but I did get stopped out, right? Hoping that we can get above the mass majority of sellers. Sellers came back in, tried to fight. And then as buyers were, and I think it was really this candle that kind of got me a little bit more interested, because, sellers tried to come back in again and we instantly kind of went above them. And then I jumped in for another buy in anticipation that we're going to squeeze out these sellers, right? And when we did eventually get above them, you can see that sell pressure. Like they really fought here, the sellers really desperately fought here. They were trying to hold on desperately to their position to try and get this market down, but they just failed. Didn't work for them. And then you saw them all get stopped out. And then after that, kind of gave me a bit more confidence that, okay, we might have a bigger move up here. And then there was the next battle. Then my next area of, it was these fresh buyers that came in, that because this is all stop losses. It's these buyers now that are interesting. If we get much below those buyers, then we're going back down. But we just about held. And then the next move happened. And it's the same cycle over and over until the sellers truly break, and squeeze out the next fresh buyers, because we just had a push up now. So let's see what actually occurred there. Boom. Yeah, look, buyers just came back in really, really nicely. Sellers tried to get it down again, failed. That's a hammer foot candle, Peter. We found a hammer foot. Really nice hammer foot. I would have loved to see that candle in real time, actually, on how that formed. But that is a beautiful hammer foot. I know Charis was messaging me on Instagram. He's been using them a lot lately. Lovely hammer foot candle right there. RTH trades below the end low, reclaims the open, target at gap close. Failure to close the gap is more bearish. Bears should take it over again at gap close. If not, something else is brewing. I agree with you, SB Ticker. Absolutely agree. Black and white, you're up 102K. You're smashing it, man. Your YouTube yesterday on reading the footprint was really helpful. Thank you, Captain. I'm glad it was helpful. Daniel, hello, people. What did I miss, long or short? You missed longs, Daniel. You missed a long, I believe. 2 longs, 1 stop out, 1. Yeah, 1 stop out, 1 that worked. Yeah. But there's going to be many more, I think. So don't worry. Hey, bro, I want a huge thanks to you. I passed my 5, can't say the prop name, but yep, flex accounts today with your recent 35-minute video. Amazing, man. I'm so glad to hear that. Congratulations. Let's get those payouts now, yeah? That's the next step. Take it nice and steady. You're going to definitely do this. Good morning, ZT Content. Gap filled. Oh, shit. Was it filled already? I had my gap fill a bit higher. Not quite. Not sure why. SB Ticker, I've got the gap starting here. So a bit higher up, I've got the gap. Maybe on NQ. Are you looking at NQ or ES? I've got it at 663. The gap fill. Let me just switch off the footprint and look at just in case I'm missing something here. Yeah, no, I have the gap starts there. So the gap is from here all the way to here. That's what I've got at the moment. But my God, there seems to be sellers are coming back in. We'll have a look. The candle that made you happy for your long was a... It was as well. You're right, Peter. I didn't even see. I'm really bad at spotting them. Someone say there was a reasonable gap on NQ as well. There is one on the NQ. On the regular trading hours, there's a gap on the NQ as well. Rav. Amazing, amazing. Fantastic job. Keep up the good work. I full port shorted Bitcoin in my Ola Prime account. Black and white, you madman. You stopped the time for RTN at 4 p.m. Okay, I'm with you. So we have different... Okay, gotcha. I understand now. But let's see what actually occurred here. I'm going to get rid of all these lines because these are all, old and dated now. All right, so we had a big chunk of buyers, and these are legit buyers. I think we're looking potentially more short right now for the short term. And the reason I say that, huge amount of buyers came in. We know they're fresh buyers, right? Couldn't push it up. And then look at the volume and the sell candle here. Now, those aren't real sellers, I don't think. I think that's a lot of these buyers because it matches up really nicely, getting out essentially at break even. And then we got real sell pressure coming in. Buyers are stuck at the top. They're struggling to get it back up again. And now sellers, it's these sellers here that are holding the line. So essentially, if we get higher up than here, yeah, those sellers are going to get squeezed out. These guys here that are coming in, right? If we get above basically that candle there, they're going to get squeezed out. Buyers are still trying to get it up. I'm a little bit late to the party. I wouldn't want to short it just yet because we know this is where buyers want to transact, right? But if we can kind of get back up there and then we see a bunch of sellers come in, I wouldn't be opposed to shorting the market a little bit. And maybe we can get back down to these lows or extend it even further. All right. So that's kind of the idea. But you can see buyers they're serious as well. They're not messing around here. They do want it. But they are failing. These buyers are struggling. Yeah, the move was a little bit higher. We're a bit late to the move if we jump in. We really do want a bit of a rotation back up and then see what happens in this area here. This is kind of our entry area because it's these sellers holding the line right now. And you can see them quite literally holding it, right? If we look at where their entry is, you can see buyers are that they're not allowing them to get much further up. I think unfortunately we're not going to get that pullback. I think we missed that move, sadly. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Just wait for the next rotation. That's literally it. You're just going to wait. I'm up 21K, taking my first payout. Let's see if it comes, and I might switch. Very nice, black and white. I hope you guys get fast payouts. Well, Ola Prime, we do 1 hour payouts, so we're pretty quick. XLF turned negative, waiting for XLK to do the same. Then we should resume the downtrend. I think, yeah, I think I missed it. I think I've missed it. But look, there's always going to be another opportunity. Buyers are still happy to keep buying, though. So there's nothing is guaranteed right now at this point. Sellers are, yeah, they've made a bit of a, bit of a move down. I'm expecting there'll be a lot of stops in that area. Let's have a quick look. So if we just draw a black line below these lows here, or around those lows, didn't see a huge spike in volume, but then again, I don't know if the volume did spike or just closed low. Does that make sense? You really got to watch it in real time as well, because sometimes, yeah, you see it in real time. Like this number here, this negative 34 could have gone to, negative 200 or 250 or something. But then a bunch of buyers came back in and dropped it back to negative 34. So, but that there was a spike in volume. But look, buyers are still happy to keep buying the dip essentially. So they haven't given up either. But we might, sellers might, let's see if they give up, these guys here. Let's see what happens when we get there. Do sellers come in, or do you see a bunch of buyers in this area? If you see a bunch of like a lot of buy volume come in, then these guys have just got out at break even and they're no longer in the market. So we're not expecting any defense from them, right? So let's see what actually happens. But you can see sell pressure comes in when we dip into there, meaning at this moment in time, these sellers are still in the market and they're still happy to try and get this market down, right? So if you believe in those sellers, you can join them when you saw them trying to defend, right? We're a bit late now, we've already missed it. But when we saw that, let me draw this a little bit easier. This is all a bit, let's get that line there. So we know those are the real sellers. We saw, all right, it wasn't a lot of sell volume, but nonetheless, you saw sell pressure come in that area. You could have joined them if you believe these guys are good and they're going to hold the line. You could have joined them for that. That would have been a really nice scalp, actually. That would have been a great entry, but we missed it. That would have been so nice, man. And a lot of buyers here getting stopped out below these lows, but buyers are still willing to come back in. They're not giving up yet. They're trying to buy every dip available. But nonetheless, you could have absolutely joined those sellers, because only two things could happen. These sellers only have two choices, right? When it goes back to their entry, either they get stopped out at break even, perfectly possible, or they double down and say, no, we're going to get this market down, and they come in with more pressure. They decided to double down. So, and it worked. They pushed it down. So well done to those sellers. They did very well. Very, very well. But of course, if they got stopped out, if they had their stops at break even and exited the market, well, we're not expecting. The likelihood is buyers are going to push this up. Do you know what I mean? And that area is going to break. They're no longer in the market. The move is done. There's no short. So do you see how it really depends on what's happening in the moment dictates what's actually going to happen? There's no kind of guarantee that only because big sellers came in here that they're going to hold the line, because it really comes down to what they decide to do. Oof, something big happened there. Look at that spike. Let's have a look what is sitting on that level. Was there anything obvious? Probably sellers taking profit, I would say, because we're kind of just back down close to that kind of low. There's probably sellers getting out. Take profits here. Yeah, I think there's a lot of take profits potentially in this area near these lows. So we're going to expect now that sellers are exiting the market, might give buyers a bit of an opportunity to push it up until sellers are willing to come back in and potentially push it down, right? But it really depends. Sellers are still happy to transact, though. You saw those sellers come in. They're happy to short quite low down. They're not necessarily waiting for a big push up before they enter again. Let's look at the chat. Absorbed. I'm shorting right now. Glad you caught that, black and white. Glad you caught that. Why should... I think I'm missing a few messages here. I mean, we are actually at a gap and VWAP, gap from session open. I need to check all my gaps now, to be fair. They're all starting to slowly get filled as volume builds up in this area. But I would expect now that sellers have a lot of sellers took profit, there might be a bit of a push up again. They're trying it, but sellers are still happy to short quite low down. So it looks like sellers are quite serious here. Thomas, how do you get a footprint chart? Thomas, if you go to my channel, there's a video that says, titled something like how to set up the footprint chart on TradingView. That explains it all. Okay, so just watch that video. It's about 20 minutes long, shows you the whole process and how to set it up. Okay, why should someone go with Ola Prime versus other prop firms? Can you please give us a summary? Well, it depends. Look, I mean, there'll be some prop firms you might prefer over us, and vice versa. It depends what you're looking for in a prop firm, what particular rules. But essentially, our kind of main selling points is that we have really fast payouts. Something just happened there. Sorry, I think. Damn, that was a lot of negative sell pressure there, and buyers instantly came in. That speed is quite interesting. Sorry, I will answer your question in a second. Something really interesting just happened there. If buyers fail here, we're going back down, but that was extreme aggression. I might join the buyers because they clearly want it here. There's obviously a big institution being very, very aggressive, but they're struggling. They're not actually pushing it up despite all that volume. Nah, they're getting squeezed out. I think that institution failed. It's a bit too early to tell. I mean, I could front run it and hope that institution is serious enough to keep this market up. But there's a lot of sellers. They're quite serious, but that was one big buyer. Do you know what I mean? One big buyer rather than a collective of a bunch of sellers like we're having. Because you can see the sell numbers are kind of going up in bits by bits, right? 400 to 500, whatever. That was like an instant drop. Boom. Instant execution. So you know that's one big guy. But I think they're getting squeezed out. I think they failed. Yeah, they're getting out. You can see their volume spiking. They're out. But anyway, what was I saying? Yes. I mean, we're generally just a decent prop firm. You know, we do quick payouts. I think our rules are pretty fair. Great support we have. Zero payout denial policy we got. So yeah, definitely give us a go. Try a small account. Give us a go. I'm sure, you'll be very happy with us. We do Forex and futures as well, and technically crypto as well, but not many people do really trade crypto prop. But if that's your thing, why not? But Forex and futures is kind of the main two asset classes we have. Cody, black and white, I'm absorbed shorting. Sammy, do you also look at NQ sometimes? Usually I trade NQ a lot. I've been more on the ES recently, but that's more down to I still have to ask Ola Prime to switch on my NQ. But NQ, ES is easier to read than NQ, but NQ is far more exciting. So, going on 3 days now, waiting for one of your competitor payouts without saying their name. I'll refer to them as highest stare. Okay. I know which one you're on about. Still 3 days. Yeah. I mean, look, 3 days isn't terrible, but I've heard prop firms out there that take like a month to pay you out. I mean, that's just bullshit. That's ridiculous. I think anything under 3 days is somewhat fair, but anything over that, you're taking a piss at this point. Shouldn't take that long to pay someone out. Trading at RTH VWAP failed to hold it. Interesting. I'm shorting too, but it's due to fib levels and EMA crosses. Hey man, whatever, as long as you come to the same conclusion and the right conclusion, doesn't matter how you read the market, whether you use, I don't know, the phases of the moon, doesn't matter. If you're profitable on it, fair play to you. That's all that matters, right? Dancer, footprint requires premium subscription. It does indeed, Dancer. Charis, you're back. How are you? We've had some really good hammer candles today. I hope you caught some of them. Please ask them. Getting Ola Prime soon, just waiting for Trader Bait. Great, good stuff, man. And I mean, welcome you on board. I'm looking at 400 on NQ for pump again, but it's a good gap from yesterday that was visited twice today, but just wicked, waiting for absorption, then enter again on a buy. Beautiful, really good, really good. It's a good plan, man. But buyers, we know they're happy to transact here. There was definitely one gigantic buyer. I do think they got stopped out here. They had a really tight stop. But now, maybe they're coming in again a bit less aggressively to try and get this market up. But notice this. Notice the volume distribution really quick. Look how all the sellers are at the bottom. That's a really bullish volume distribution. I'm going to go in for a buy again, even though we're at the top here. In anticipation, buyers are going to try and take control. And my stop will quite literally be, look, if this candle fails, if we go below that candle, I want to get out. Because then we're going back into the sell distribution. And that's generally not good. But I mean, I should have jumped in a bit earlier. I got in a bit late. But nonetheless, I just wanted to point out that volume. Notice how the volume distribution changed very quickly. All right, let's try figure out who is who, what is going on. Buyers are coming in with a bit of vengeance. I think these are fresh buyers. Potentially some of those sellers getting, stopped out, but I think that's definitely stops getting hit there. Sellers getting liquidated, well, not liquidated, but stopped out. There's definitely something going on. A lot of sellers being squeezed out as we start approaching these highs. All the sellers that came in here getting essentially squeezed out a bit. So let's see if we can ride it back to that high again. That'll be quite nice. I did get a bad entry on that. That was by the time I spotted it, we're ready. Oh, look at that volume. Oof. I mean, that's going to be a lot of fresh buyers as well. So we kind of want them to succeed. If they fail a little bit, it might be a little bit worrying, because that is a lot of buy volume, and it should prop the market up. I mean, we should get a fresh wave of buyers coming in because of the momentum we had. We shouldn't be dropping much lower. Otherwise, it might be a little bit worrying for buyers. Come on, buyers. We need a fresh wave. A lot of buyers coming in. We need a lot of them. There we go. Bit more. 300. Nice. But it dropped back down to 150. So, there's sellers in here. Back down to 80. 200. They've reloaded. Good. Let's keep that kind of, momentum going. Now, naturally, we do have a few highs here where there's going to be potentially stops. Let's see if we can squeeze out. I think a lot of the sellers have been squeezed out from the move. So I can't imagine there'll be too many sellers still in this market. I think a lot of them saw that momentum and got the hell out quickly. Because again, that matters as well. How the candles form do matter. The speed of it does matter. Because imagine if you're, a seller here, right? Let me just check. Sellers are willing to sell at the high. which is expected. We don't want them to, we want to keep seeing that momentum of buyers coming in. Still okay, you know, we've 140, 180, 200. There we go. Good, good. There's some stops getting cleared. Boom, boom, boom. Lovely. All right, let's see if we can keep extending, keep going up. We basically just want to keep it going until we see that failure. Do you know what I mean? Oh yeah, look at that volume. Beautiful, beautiful. Well done, buyers. Let's keep that volume coming in. Let's not fail here. Let's keep it going. It's the first sign of potential failure coming in. No, 500, good. Back down to 400. I've got the point of control kind of blocking the numbers a bit there. 300, 400, good. Back to 5. There's a lot of volume coming in. Come on, buyers. Let's keep it up. Keep it up, up, up. What is my TP? There it is. Look at that. Oh, this such a nice move, man. Such a nice move. Beautiful move. Come on. Let's not fail. The thing is, the closer you get to the highs, generally speaking, the less willing people are to buy. Do you know what I mean? Like, just ask yourself, would you be willing to buy right now if you're a scalper? Probably not. You're like, we've already kind of made the move. So you're going to lose buy pressure as you get closer to your TP. That's the only annoying part, but that's just human psychology, right? And you can see sellers are more willing to short the closer you get to highs. So you kind of get that little bit of chop. And that's why they say don't be a dick for a tick. If you get really close to your TP and you start seeing a bunch of sellers coming in, just take the money, man. Like, yes, they can still bring it up, but it starts becoming, the probability starts becoming less and less. Do you know what I mean? So I'm just keeping my eye on how effective those sellers are. I want to see buyers still willing to buy. We saw a bunch of buying happen there. We kind of dropped them down, but sellers are still willing to sell more aggressively than buyers, right? 300 back down to 270, 250. 220, good. Bit of buy pressure. 180 closed at 75 on the buy side. Drop back down, reloading a bit. Sellers still coming in. They're very 50-50. Do you see what I mean? Oh, look at that. Sellers still willing to come in a bit stronger. But as long as they're not effective, as long as they kind of fail, it's okay. 170. But you notice how the candle isn't going up on that. So I'm getting out. Notice how there was a bunch of buyers came in, like 170, but we didn't actually tick really up. Not a good sign. So I'm gonna hold off. But there was a point I wanted to make. Yes. So imagine if you were one of these sellers, right? The reason why momentum does matter. Imagine you sold here somewhere, right? And you got your stop there, and God knows wherever your take profit is, right? Doesn't really matter. Now, if the candles were really small and kind of creeped up a bit, you're not going to be that, oh, this is dangerous, right? You're going to be like, okay, fine. It's just natural kind of movement. It's not a big deal. But if all of a sudden you get hit with a massive bullish candle, you're going to be way more kind of like, oh, shit, that's not good. So you're more likely to lower your stop loss to break even just to cover your position, just in case. Do you know what I mean? Because that was a lot of momentum. It's going to scare you a bit. That's why you saw a lot of volume come in, you know, as we kind of pushed up. That was a lot of it, a lot of those sellers getting out at break even because it had momentum to it. Do you know what I mean? If it was like a really slow kind of, you know, choppy crawl up, I don't think you would have seen that much buy volume come in. You would have probably seen a lot of these sellers kind of be like, all right, well, it's not the end of the world, you know, and they might actually double down and sell more. But the sellers are coming in. So again, noticing when that shift happened. And the only reason I got out was somewhere here. I can't remember if it was this candle or that candle, but we saw the volume go to 170 on the buy side, but the candle literally did not tick up. It went to, there was like a big chunk, 170, but the candle, there wasn't even a tick upwards. It just kind of remained flat. And I think it actually ticked down a little bit, meaning like buyers are getting absorbed essentially. It's they're losing effectiveness here. They're kind of just, they're a bit exhausted. And you saw sellers every time they came in, they did actually tick the market down. They were quite effective. Cut the trade. Got very close to the TP, but this is always the danger when you get close to highs, because naturally, people are less likely to buy it closer to the high, because they know, why would you want to, if you bought, it's a lot harder to convince people to buy up here, because anyone who is buying up here, they're not going to be scalpers, number one, definitely not scalpers. Their stops might be down here somewhere, and then, the take profit is going to, far away, right? Like, kind of hard to convince a scalper, and a lot of the 1 minute chart is essentially down to scalping, when there really isn't that much profit to be made if that's the last major high. Do you know what I mean? So you kind of want people, like right now, people are buying again. Makes sense. We had, a good pullback. Now they're looking at it. Oh, this is a good place to buy. It's a lot cheaper. I can actually make profit now. So they're all willing to jump in. But yeah. So I hope that kind of made sense there. What I was explaining. Let's see what we get here. Ola Prime soon, just waiting for trade of 8. I'm looking at 400 on NQ for pump again. It's a good gap from. Oh, I saw that. Absolutely, Charis. Hi, Sammy. I looked at Ola Prime rules and all, and I have to say I like it a lot. Big issue for me though, they don't allow external copying either in or out. External copying. I think that's more down to. Yeah. No, actually, no. You're right. I think if you contact us, we might, and because the reason external copying is not allowed is mainly down because there's so many groups out there that do, they get people. There's these groups out there that basically say, we'll buy a challenge of any prop firm and we'll pass it for you and we'll trade it for you and do all this kind of stuff. A lot of them are a bit scammy, but so we basically want to because part of the legality of like being able to offer our services in certain countries, majority of countries, we need to do KYC, right? That's just an industry rule, in order to protect ourselves and be legal within that country. But if someone is trading someone else's account and we're not taking sufficient steps to ensure that, if you own an account, if you have an account with us, it should be you trading, and we're letting people not, other people trade someone else's account, that can lead us into actually hot water. So it becomes a big kind of issue. So, but if you can, if you contact us, maybe, if the team feel that, okay, you do just genuinely want to copy like something that you're already trading and we're happy with that, we could probably lift that rule for you potentially, and things can be worked out. So yeah, just talk to us. We're always willing to, because the rule, we understand certain rules, unfortunately, they're to protect us and keep us on the legal side, everything, tip and, but we understand that there could be legitimate reasons as well for why you would want to use external copying, right? Like if you want to trade multiple accounts, that's perfectly fine. It's more to stop other people trading your account that shouldn't be trading your account. Does that make sense? When will trade of 8 be on Ola Prime? I say this all the time. It is genuinely very soon. Very, very soon. I don't have an exact date yet. Can you show us a gold chart? I took a paper short. 1 minute. Okay. It's Job. I'm going to call you Job. I will show gold in a second. Let me just get through some of these comments and then I'll jump onto gold. All right. Hey Sam, could you explain the difference between various Ola Prime accounts, please? Honestly, it's all just on the website. It's a lot easier. I mean, we've got like the Prime, the Pro. One is made more for swing traders, another's more for, because we allow like weekend holding, um, all that kind of stuff. That's more for swing traders. The other, same with like news trading. So it really, like on the CFD side, it's more about whether you're a swing trader or a scalper. But otherwise, the accounts are pretty much identical. It's more just about those particular rules. And one is 2-step, one is 1-step. So again, depending whether you're more happy to do a 1-step or a 2-step, comes down to your personal preference. I check with customer service. So on NQ, I have gap above, gap below the last pump, stopped at point of control and VWAP of session. For now, although tempted to enter a buy or sell based on 1 minute absorption. Not a bad idea, Charis. Not a bad idea. It's gone a bit choppy here as buyers and sellers try and battle each other out. So I'm going to hold out for a bit and kind of see who wins. I understand, but I can prove the accounts hold out to me. Absolutely. If talk to our team, reach out to us and see what do they actually say? Do they, because maybe like that particular customer service person is just instructed to say no, that's the rule. But does that make sense? I could see what if I can pull any strings for you. How long until you get Trader 8 on Ninja Trader platform? Yeah, very soon. It's coming very soon. I don't have an exact date, Skaz. All right. Can you share your volume profile settings? Absolutely, Alex. So volume profile, I think it's pretty much the base default settings. These are my volume profile settings. So it's market only, up, down volume, or total volume, doesn't really matter. Value area set to 100. Number of rows is set to 24. And that's the same for the fixed range volume profile. This is the session volume profile, but the settings are identical on the fixed range. Okay. They said that's the rule. Okay. And drop me an email, Sam at Ola Prime. I'll see if because obviously the customer service people they're trained to just read the rule and then say no, sorry. But if you get to the right person, things can probably be done. All right. So email me, Sam at Ola Prime. I'll see if I can get and get something done for you. All right. Who wanted to see gold? There was someone. That's it. It's job. You wanted to see gold. All right. Let's have a quick look at gold. GC. There we go. Gold. I'm going to go just candlesticks because I need to see the overall kind of structure. Let's go to the 15-minute. Damn, gold's had a hell of a sell-off, hasn't it? Whew. Let's go to the 4-hour. Oh, wow. We're all the way back down to damn, man. Wow. Okay. I think that's pretty much going to be covered. There's no gaps left below from that area. So we're going to have to look for gaps on this push-up. See anything that hasn't been tested yet. And okay, we do have a few. So we've got a really nice gap there. Clone that. Another one there. Not as good, but still nonetheless pretty decent. And then another one there. Okay, so we're in the first one. So I expect a bit of buy pressure in the market, and we're seeing that wick occur. So there is a bit of buy pressure in the market coming in from that gap. In terms of where can the retracement fail, there's a gap there, and there's another one higher up here. Okay, and then I can get to the 1 minute. So these are my levels now on gold. And you said, can you show us a gold chart? I took a paper short from 4629. You would be on a CFD, wouldn't you? So the price is going to be a bit different because I'm using the futures, gold futures. XAU. Let's look at. All right, let me look at the CFD price. I can figure out exactly where. What was it? 4629. 29 was kind of up here somewhere. So around here, you took a on the futures, right? Okay, cool. Let's go back to NQ. Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad short. Let's look at the volume. I mean, but keep in mind the gold futures volume is not the full market. It's only showing you the futures. So it's not that good. It's very hard to read the footprint on gold. I'll be real with you. Just because it ain't the full market. Yeah, I'm not really. I'm seeing. It's a hard one, man. It's a very hard footprint to read, truth be told. This is why I don't trade gold. Because if you look at the numbers, they're all very kind of similar. There's not a big range. Occasionally you get bit bigger numbers. But these are just futures contracts, right? The futures market on gold isn't the main market because gold is huge, such a global market. The reason the futures market works, like the footprint works really well for Nasdaq and ES or S&P, it's because it pretty much is the main market. Do you know what I mean? That moves intraday, day to day kind of trading. Whereas gold is, I mean, it's such a big global market. Like it's ridiculous. This is just a sliver of the reality of what you're seeing on gold. So I can't really use the footprint that much. But if I had to short, like I would swing trade, intraday trade gold more. If I had to short gold, I would wait for, up here. That's where we got very close. I would look for a trade like that on gold. That is probably what I would look for. But we are seeing bullish structure. We are in that first gap. But I do think there'll be a reaction up here. And in terms of what price that is, hard to actually tell you because I'd have to look at the CFD price. If I zoom out, I can probably find it for you, roughly the price. So it was around that little peak there. So I'll say around, 4657, around there as well. I'll be looking to short. And then a stop. It was where the support stop kind of around 46706, around there. That is kind of the short position I would look for gold. All right. So Ola Prime have end of day or trailing or intraday. It's end of day, Daniel. End of day. I can tell if there is any max limit on withdrawals. There's no max limit. Sammy, another hammer candle. Oh, let's have a look. Let's get to the ES. I use MGC always for footprint. That's how I look for. Oh, okay. Oh, so you use the micro gold. Gotcha. I thought you were using CFDs. My bad. I mean, to be fair, there might be a lot more volume in micro gold, so it might be easier to read on the micros. Might actually be easier to read. Look at the one at 1050. It's textbook. This one here, I would say it's like an inverse one though. Do you know what I mean? Because if it was a bullish candle, Like if this was green, technically that would be a bullish hammer foot. I've never looked at the inverse ones. That's a good, but it's the. Do you know what I mean? It's technically the wrong way round. Like that's a bearish one. I mean, it's a tiny one, but that's technically a bearish one. All the buyers at the top, sellers at the bottom. Hammer candle, that would be a bearish hammer foot. Whoops. It is the kind of hammer I use when there is a bullish momentum, so I'm trying to wait for it. Okay. Well, I've never actually I've never actually thought about using kind of like do you know what I mean? Where it's still a bearish candle, but technically if you were to draw that um what do you call it? Draw it green, it would look like a bullish hammer foot. But I've never actually thought about using the inverse. So let me know how that works out if you use those. Because then maybe I can boom, the 1-to-1 would have worked on that little bearish one. Yeah, I love the hammer foot candles. They're so good. Especially like you said, like there's another one there. Like that's a textbook hammer foot right there. That is beautiful. Just look at that. I mean, that's got no wick at the bottom as well. Really nice wick to body ratio. All good amount of sellers, good amount of buyers. Stop right above the wick. 1-to-1. That is a beautiful one. And then a 1-to-1. Which, oh, all right, you would have actually got stopped out. Well, actually, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it is a hard one. If you technically put it at the wick, will it be a 1-to-1? No, you would still get. Oh, that would have been the most annoying trade. You would be so pissed off. But it is textbook the way it looks. It's absolutely textbook. That would have been so annoying. I normally use the one you use 100%, but when there is an institutional entry, there is a lot of momentum. You don't want to enter randomly at highs. This works so sweet. Makes sense. Absolutely. No, I think you're absolutely right, Charis. I think the more you kind of implement it with other ideas, like any high, low, like you said on Instagram, value area highs, lows, previous session high, lows, support, resistance, gaps in volume, whatever, like any kind of area that makes sense, and you see one appear, definitely be really, really nice. We have just been in a range from open, typical post FOMC. Pretty much, I think you're absolutely right. It's just a battle. This is like a true battle going on right now. And I mean, we could probably look at the 15-minute to get clues of the volume distribution if there's any. Yeah, no, look, the volume distribution is pure, utter nonsense. Typical range distribution right now. All the buyers at the top, all the sellers at the bottom. And if you were to do a volume profile, I guarantee it'll be like a triangle shape. Yeah, pretty much kind of got that triangular shape to it, you're absolutely right. It's a proper range. It's just a battle, It's a complete battle. Someone will win eventually, and then we'll get more of a move. But trying to predict who's going to win is very difficult. Very, very difficult. Oh, what the hell happened here? Where did 1,000? That doesn't even make sense. That's got to be real fresh buyers again coming in. That is insane. Ninja trade versus trade of 8 for live future count. What's your suggestion? I'll be real with you. I've never actually tried either platform. I see a lot of people say Ninja Trader is really good, but I've never personally actually really tried Ninja Trader. I've never traded with TraderVate either. So I don't know. But if I had to choose just based on what people have said and what I've heard, I would say Ninja Trader is probably the better one. But I wouldn't know. I tested a hammer for it's a Ninja, not really that great over time. Did you just test it purely based on like jump in whenever the candle appears? What kind of like risk rules did you have? Was it like 1-to-1, etc.? Have a great day, guys. I wish to trade NQ again if you want to do it tomorrow. Charis, have a good one. Definitely. I'll see you tomorrow, man. Fong Tactical says, I use ATAS as a really good order flow volume profile platform. ATAS is a good one. Yeah, a lot of people like ATAS as well. I didn't really get on with ATAS too much. Don't know why. It felt, I don't know, something about it didn't really stick with me. Same with Bookmap. I never really got on with Bookmap. Sierra Charts was the one I mostly used until I switched over to TradingView. And although TradingView is lacking in features, definitely lacking in order flow features, there's something so clean about it. I don't know. It's so intuitive to use. I can navigate it so quickly. Boom, boom, boom. And I don't know. It does what I want it does what I need very well. Do you know what I mean? That's why I switched over to TradingView. It's hard to switch when I've been using it for so long. Oh no, absolutely, man. I've been using Ninja Trader for over a decade and love it. This is it. Once you get used to a certain platform and your eyes learn, like I've got subscriptions with different platforms just as a backup, you know. Like Go Charting is another kind of like what you call it? It's similar to TradingView that it's cloud based. So I like the cloud based part of it. Let me just load it up for you guys so you can see what I mean. And it definitely has way more features than TradingView. So this is Go Charting. It's fully cloud based. Definitely has way more features. I'll go to 1 minute chart here. But it's not. I don't know, man. I there's something about it. I can't use it as well. I still prefer TradingView, even though it is on paper a better platform. There's something about it. I could trade it if I really had to. I could do it, but I'm not. Yeah, I'm just not that. I don't know. I mean, it's nice. It's a really nice platform, but it's not my preferred. TradingView, something about it. My eyes are just so used to it now that I really like it. Yeah, so level 2, it doesn't have. This is the thing with TradingView. You can get level 2 data on TradingView, so you can get the depth of market, the full book as well. But you would need to hook your TradingView up to your futures broker, and then buy it from the futures broker. Then, because once you connect an account, like once you connect the brokerage account to TradingView, and that broker gives you access to level 2 data, you can get it then actually in the depth of market. So you can get it, but yeah, it has to be via the broker, which is a little bit, again, a bit annoying. But again, I don't really use the depth of market. I used to always have it on another screen, but I never. Nowadays, I've kind of learned to trade without it. It was more of a distraction, I think, a lot of the time, because I like to just kind of, at the end of the day, because I found the depth of market is just full of spoofing and icebergs. So a lot of the time, the data you're seeing on it is just, I'd rather see icebergs on the footprint where, build up a volume and there's no movement. I know it's an iceberg. Or, take out a high and you see a bunch of buyers come in. I know that's, sell limits getting, sell stops getting hit. Buy stops getting hit. Basically, sellers getting stopped out, right? Or, buyers taking profit, sell limits getting cleared. So I can figure out the level 2 data just from the footprint, if that makes sense, at the time of execution. Sierra charts a lot better than NTA, Ninja Trader. It doesn't even have a decent DOM. Yeah, I mean, Sierra charts is probably, in my opinion, like the most capable, like without a doubt. Like even the institution I used to work for, but they use Sierra charts. Like there's genuine big trading floors that use Sierra charts. Obviously they're in custom build and whatnot, and their templates and stuff. But I think for a retail trade, you almost don't need it. It's too overcomplicated. It's just too much. Because setting it up, unless you had that kind of structure, and you got some person who can help set it up and customize everything, because you can literally make Sierra charts look like anything. It is insane, and it's so capable, and it's so quick as well. I mean, the main point about Sierra charts is it uses your, I think it uses your CPU to do a lot of processing or some shit. Like TradingView is cloud based, so it uses their kind of server. So everything, all the data coming in, the speed is limited by your internet connection, all that kind of shit, right? Sierra charts was a little bit, I don't know, I'm not too technical, but it was just quicker. It loaded, like the numbers were quick. It was like real time, real. But again, I mean, unless you're super micro scalping, it doesn't really affect me that much. Stops at just above or below the wick made variables for delta range volume targets. It is basically break even over time. Drawdown is too much for my taste. Gotcha, SP ticker. Gotcha. Best footprint by far. To you, it works on Ninja. Nice. Do you have to pay extra for the footprint on Go Charting? Yeah, Daniel. Yeah, you do have to pay extra for it. It's again like their premium package. It's a bit cheaper than TradingView. I think it's like $60 a month, something like that. So a little bit cheaper than TradingView. I feel Go Charting is just a little bit. It feels a little bit rough around the edges. Let's put it that way. Like TradingView feels quite well built. Like things work how you'd expect it. Like it's a bit like an iPhone. TradingView doesn't have that many features. Like Android is better than an iPhone in terms of features, right? You can do a lot more with Android, but it feels a little bit more rough around the edges. Whereas the iPhone is kind of a bit more polished. Maybe not so much in recent times. I know they had their problems, but in general, that was kind of the perception, right? TradingView kind of feels a bit like that. Like it's well polished, but it is a bit. It's just lacking features. But I feel like they're going to introduce more and more as time goes on. Do you have a course on how to learn how to trade volume footprint? Alex, no course, nothing like that. I don't sell a course or anything. Everything, all the educational stuff I release is all free on YouTube. So there's really not much more I could package up. And does that make sense? There's nothing I could put in a course that I don't show already on YouTube. So like, even if I ever release a course, I think it will be a waste of money because I've already given all the information out. I'll be like, save your money and just watch the YouTube video. So yeah. The problem I have with TradingView is that I can't backtest. It only gives you a footprint chart going back a day or two. I'm looking for a good platform to backtest. Any suggestions? You're absolutely right. That is another thing. They really should make the data a bit more, store it a bit longer and give you the replay option, but I believe Deep Charts has a backtest option. Quite a new platform, but they're, from what I've never tested them, but from what I see, very nice. It looks very good, and I believe you can backtest with Deep Charts, so well worth checking it out. Mastro, good to see you. Hi, Sammy. Nice to see you. How are you doing today? Very good, my friend. How are you? I take another 50k direct account today, also for saving the 30% discount. Then I'm direct funded 100k of Ola Prime. Exciting, amazing, Mastro, man. Really good stuff. I'm glad to hear that. I'll send you an email showing it to you while we are live here. Absolutely, SP Ticker. Yeah, send me an email. I'll check it out. The Apple versus Android analogy was quite excellent. Describe TradingView versus Ninja Trader. You're welcome, Highlands. I mean, TradingView, like, don't get me wrong. I get why a lot of traditional order flow traders shit on TradingView. I get it. TradingView is it's kind of like the new kid on the block. It's not really an order flow platform, like natively built, and therefore people, kind of shit on it. I get it, but it does what it does. It does it quite well, you know. Sam, please share the screenshot for the chat to see. You got a screenshot? Did you send it to me on? You sent it by email, right? Ah, I see now. All right, let me get my email up on a different thing and then get that screenshot up for you. So this is your this is what SP Ticker has sent me. Wow. Okay, yeah, so this is a very nice what have we got here? So we got the delta on the left-hand side. I'm assuming total volume on the right. Very nice. You can clear define of each candle and the wick. I like that as well. Are these delta percents at the top? 7%, all that kind of stuff. And then what is the numbers? The 6 and 657. I'm assuming that's the overall delta, right? So that's the delta of the candle, right? Yeah, that's the delta percent I see. And then what are these numbers? The 5.9, 36.9, all that kind of stuff. With a screenshot will show delta on the left, total volume on the right. I can answer questions. Would you have seen the 1059 volume spike as potential trade area once we closed above it? Oh, let me have a look, Jennifer. Let me have a real quick look for you. 1059. So that would be here somewhere. Where is 59? There we go. Yes, Jennifer, well done. Absolutely. So because we're in that range, we know pretty much most people are, fresh people. You had that kind of sell pressure come in, but it's obviously a big battle. So because it is a bit of a longer range, naturally the higher, even if we get slightly above them, it's still a bit dangerous to kind of, buy near the top. You really want to kind of break through the range and see how many stops get cleared. So we kind of broke above the range, right? You can see the stop losses all triggering, and then you want to see fresh buy pressure come in. And if you get that fresh buy pressure and they're kind of effective, it's not bad. But I like to kind of wait for some kind of sell pressure to come in and fail before I see fresh buy pressure. Does that make sense? Those are ratios plotted. Okay. Gotcha. But this is nice. Yeah, I mean, it looks really, really nice. I mean, you got all the good data that you need. Essentially, you have it there. It would take me a while to get used to trading it because I understand it's fully configurable. But it would take me a little bit of time to get used to it because my eyes, like, are just not used to this kind of layout, and all the colors and everything. But again, really nice though, really, really nice. Very capable, beautiful, really good. I like it. Efficiency below delta percent on the bottom, at high and low. Gotcha. So is that something you coded yourself then? The efficiency? I'm assuming that's kind of like, size of the candle versus volume. So how many ticks the candle moves versus like divided by volume or something like that, or delta. Work out the efficiency. I'm assuming you did some sort of calculation like that. But really cool. Oh, we got back into that gap. Oh no, did we ever get to that gap? We haven't. Oh, so the first shit, I just realized we tapped into a gap and we got a rejection. Completely missed that. Let's see what happened. This is a 5-minute. Gotcha. Oh, okay, that was a 5-minute. Nice. Yeah, really nice projection, but then again, look, buyers willing to come back in. Still very rangy, the market. But I like it. I like the footprint you have there, SP ticker. Really, really nice. You can code anything you want in TDU. See, that's really sweet. I like that you can code within the actual footprint itself. Like obviously with TradingView, you can code indicators and all that kind of stuff, but I don't think you can actually edit code within the footprint. Does that make sense? Like I can't, for example, create a code where I don't know, I might be wrong. You might be able to, and I have no idea. But I don't think, for example, if I wanted it to highlight a particular cluster, I can't make it, just highlight that or something, or give me like a separate, calculation at the bottom of each candle or something like that. I don't know. Maybe you can. I might be talking out my arse here, but I like that you have that customization available. So really good stuff. Really good stuff. So what are we doing here? We're in that gap. See, buyers aren't really letting off, but we know those are fresh buyers. Fresh sellers coming in. Let's see if those buyers fail. If those buyers fail, we could go for a quick short here, potentially. It looks like they're failing. I'm going to go in really quick for a short. I can have a stop just above there. Let's see if the sellers can boom, 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 at least, squeeze out some of those, some of these buyers. I mean, where their stop's going to be? Somewhere around here, maybe. But if I see buyers come back in at these lows here, I'll just get out because I think it's just going to be rotational. So it really depends. We're seeing a bit of buy pressure at 85. Let's see how effective they are. 113, 200. That's a lot of buy pressure. Let's see if we can squeeze them out. Are they going to push it much further, or is that it? Bit of sellers. Nah, it looks like they're doing it. I'll get out. I think it's going to be a bit rotational. You can code anything you want into you. You can do that now. It's new functionality in TradingView since March this year. Ah, yes. Because I know you can now, PineScript can now read the actual footprint data, which is, oh my God, so much better now. Like it was absolutely insane when it couldn't do that. Everything about order flow is configurable 100%. XLK and XLF positive, careful. Yeah, I was very, very, actually, it's not bad. Look at those buyers failed. They look like they might break through here. I think, oh no, actually, I think I should have been a bit more willing to hold here because I think that's a really good And again, same reason. Why did I enter for a short there? Look, we've already taken out these highs. I mean, sorry, we're trading within that high there. And you saw that big buy pressure come in. You know those are fresh buyers trying to get the market up. They failed. Sellers coming in. Again, buyers trying to come in. They're failing. Sellers coming in below them. We're squeezing out those buyers. Once we get below that wick, you're going to see a massive amount of sellers probably. Boom, there it is. You see how it went over 400? Below, that's a lot of those buyers getting... Yeah, that was actually a really good entry, and I kind of got out. I genuinely, I believe when I started seeing a bit of buy pressure come in, I thought it would just rotate a little bit. And we're going to just range. I should have probably waited to see how effective those buyers are. But I thought they were just they're not gonna fail, and they're gonna. But you never mind. It is what it is. But it would have been a nice trade otherwise. So now you're looking for new sellers coming, because we know a lot of that volume here is actually buyers from this move getting stopped out. Now we want new sell volume like this 161. Good. These are fresh sellers. We want them to keep it down. If they keep it down, then, if I was still in this trade, I can have my stop above that candle. New sell volume coming in. We want to see those sellers really extend down. This is such a good trade. How the fuck did I get out so early? It's such a good trade. Where the hell did I get out? That's the most pathetic. Well, what can you do? What can you do? It is what it is. Who cares? Let's see. What's the best tick per row to use on NQ? Dave, I would say usually anywhere from like 16 to 24 is usually very good for NQ. It depends how volatile the market happens to be. But if you can make the NQ footprint like cluster-wise look, we're talking maybe 4 or 5 clusters per candle on average. That's kind of the sweet spot. So anywhere from 16 to 24. And do it in stages of 4, right? So 16, 20, or 24, because there's 4 ticks to a point. So it just makes it a little bit, I guess, neater, cleaner, Hey, Eric, great day to you, my friend. How are you? I'm up over 6K and I passed 100K Forex account. Eric, incredible stuff. How do you enable the delta on the bottom of your chart? So if you just go into the settings of the footprint, so just double click the footprint anywhere and scroll down, go to show summary info. You can either have table or info box. Info box is only when you zoom in, you get that data. So I find that a bit pointless. So I keep it as a table, and then you can select any of these. I like to have the delta percent, and the cumulative volume delta as well. Okay. So really, really easy. But, man, that was such a nice move down, man. Such a nice move down. No problem. Yeah, I really don't know why I got out so quickly. I really should have waited to see how good those buyers were, because they really didn't move it up much. And I was like, it's gonna range, isn't it? And then the one time I do want it to break, it starts ranging. That's just typical. That's just the market for you. It does the opposite of what you want it to do. It knows what you want and then does the exact opposite, just to piss you off. But we've basically hit 2 hours live, guys. I think I'm gonna pretty much end it there. Great session, man. Really, really good session, I think, today. That was we had a lot of good activity. We had a lot of really interesting stuff to point out on the trading, on the charts. A lot of great conversation with everyone in the chat. Come back tomorrow if you're available. back again, 9:30 Eastern tomorrow. It's a Friday tomorrow, right? Yeah, it is a Friday tomorrow. So that's always going to be fun. And yeah, I'll see you all then. Thank you all for participating, joining. I'll see you all tomorrow. Thank you so much. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.